Hey, what's up, guys? John here. If you haven't heard, some very, very big events are occurring overseas right now. Here's a live video of what just happened. This is from the Daily Mail. And Biden just made massive sanctions in partnership with some other countries against Russia that are going to greatly impact the overall global economy. We've already seen Russia's stock market absolutely get crushed. America's stock market as well. We're seeing a pullback in crypto. Gold is skyrocketing. Massive changes are coming to this economy. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what Biden just did, exactly what they're proposing, and exactly where I see all of this going. Drop your comments below, tap that like button. If you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate other people about what's really going on in the economy that nobody else is talking about. Let's begin. This is NBC News. This is now what they are proposing. After I show you this, I'm going to tell you what they just did. What they just did is unbelievable. What they're proposing is absolutely frightening. Biden has been presented with options for massive cyber attacks against Russia. The options presented include disrupting the internet across Russia, shutting off power, and stopping trains in their tracks. President Joe Biden has been presented with a menu of options for the U.S. to carry out massive cyber attacks designed to disrupt Russia's ability to sustain its military operations in Ukraine. 4 people familiar with the deliberations tell NBC News. 2 U.S. intelligence officials, 1 Western intelligence official, and another person briefed on the matter say no final decisions have been made, but they say U.S. intelligence and military cyber warriors are proposing to use American cyber weapons on scale never before contemplated. Among the options, disrupting internet connectivity across Russia, shutting off electric power, and tampering with railroad switches to hamper Russia's ability to resupply its forces, 3 of the sources say. You could do everything from slow the trains down to have them fall off the tracks, one person briefed on the matter said. The sources said that the options presented include preemptive responses to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, irrespective of whether Russia launches its own cyber attacks on the U.S. in retaliation for sanctions. They said most of the potential cyber attacks under consideration are designed to disrupt but not destroy, and therefore fall short of an act of war by the United States against Russia. They say the idea is to harm networks, not people. Officials are debating the legal authorities under the attacks would take place, whether they could be converted into action or clandestine military activity. Either way, the U.S. would not publicly acknowledge carrying out the operations, the sources say. U.S. Cyber Command, the National Security Agency, the CIA, and other agencies would have a role to play in the operations, the sources said. Our response will be too harsh and measured, but not so severe as to encourage Putin to take more drastic steps. One U.S. official said the White House did not initially respond to a request for comment after publication. A spokesperson for the National Security Council said in a statement, "This report is wildly off base and does not reflect what is actually being discussed in any shape or form." The person briefed on the matter said that there is a significant divide with the U.S. government, with the camp being fearful and escalating, another urging a strong cyber response. Any use of cyber weapons to retaliate for the U.S. invasion of Ukraine would be a turning point for the U.S. cyber operations, which have largely been focused on intelligence gathering, information operations, and targeting strikes, many of them counterterrorism purposes. The most significant use of American cyber capability is believed in the stunning attack on the Iranian nuclear program from 2007 to 2010, which used computer malware to cause massive physical damage. But the U.S. has been laying the groundwork for years for possible cyber operations against Russia, China, and other adversaries. Experts say those countries have done the same on American infrastructure networks. Cyber weapons are going to be used in a way we haven't used other weapons. A cyber expert at the Center's Strategic and International Studies that gives us options we didn't have before. This is Business Insider. This happened 1 hour ago. Biden acknowledges new, harsher sanctions on Russia and says that this is a dangerous moment for all of Europe. We have purposely designed these sanctions to maximize long-term impacts on Russia and minimize the impact on the United States. We will limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen To be part of the global economy, the president said, of the sanctions, we are going to stop the ability to finance and grow Russia's military. We are going to impair their ability to compete in the high-tech 21st century economy. Between our actions and those of our allies and partners, we estimate that we will cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports. The U.S. president also warned of the implications of Russia's actions, saying that this is a dangerous moment for all of Europe and the world at large. To that end, Biden said the U.S. will deploy additional troops to bolster NATO's so-called eastern flank amid the looming threat of Russia's aggression beyond its invasion of Ukraine. The president's remarks came after he met with G7 members to coordinate a more severe response on the Russian troops moved in on the Ukraine from its northern, eastern, and southern borders, advancing by land, air, and sea. An estimated number of more than 150,000 Russian troops amassed on Ukraine's borders over the last several months, one of the largest troops buildups since World War II, and launched a massive offensive of several Ukrainian cities using troops, artillery, tanks, and other vehicles beginning on Thursday. So that's what they've done as of today. But what is going to be very fascinating is looking at how Russia responds to this. Everyone knows Russia controls 10% of the global fossil fuel industry. 10%. That's not a small number, 10%. And they just did a massive deal with China, and they just did a massive deal with India with fossil fuels. We all know that Putin is sitting on a war chest of gold. And if we look at the gold chart yesterday, investors are fleeing stocks and crypto and fleeing other alternatives and running into gold. It's the biggest move we've seen on gold in the last couple of years. And to me, this could be a moment where gold really starts to shine, no pun intended. But who is China choosing to side with? As of now, they're saying that the U.S. is not the one that is innocent here. They're more than likely favoring Russia. So it seems as though the U.S. is putting ourselves in a position to where utility prices could really start to soar, gas prices could soar, because Russia could use one of their main options, which could be the fossil fuel industry and all of their power in that industry. We are entering a different market, a different economy. The last 2 years were built on printing money, low interest rates, zero interest rates. Everyone was making money, hand over fist on it, basically everything. It took very little skill and very little intellect to make money in most markets over the last couple of years, because everything just went up like a rocket. However, in a fearful market, we're going to see who is a smart and savvy investor and who is simply just riding a great, bull market. What I think is going to happen is I think that over the next 6 months to a year and less, we're going to slowly start to see this decline, and this decline, unless they really just don't increase interest rates and they just, print money, although that can't go on forever, ultimately that is going to turn into an absolute disaster. They are going to be increasing interest rates. That is what we've been told in March. As they continue to increase interest rates and the debt that everyone has becomes more expensive, what generally happens is that when that's coupled with rising gasoline prices and rising food prices, things get more challenging. People start to sell off things and other assets and stakes and crypto coins and stocks that they otherwise had no intention of selling. This is where I think the opportunity is going to be. I think right now is when the value investor steps forward and does very well. This is the moment where value investors are starting to see the gold rush, the real potential in this upcoming market. That's what I think is going to happen. I've been talking a while about how I think gold is going to do very well over the next couple of years, not just as a hedge against inflation, but just all of the history that gold has offered and precious metals have offered. They didn't have the parabolic run that a lot of other asset classes did, which was good for some investors to be able to get in at lower prices. But what I think is going to happen is I think that we're going to start to see people from all over the world look at a safe haven. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to put their money? A lot of people said, Bitcoin is the new gold. Bitcoin is the best place. But if you look at Bitcoin over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, chart's not looking too good. You look at the stock market, chart's not looking too good. You look at gold, you look at a lot of precious metals, charts are looking good. I think what we're going to see is we're going to start to see a lot of scared people, a lot of deep-pocketed capitalists and private equity firms, a lot of firms, household, family offices buying precious metals, looking for ways to protect their wealth and protect their purchasing power without taking too much risk. What do you think? Where do you see this economy going? Where do you think Biden is taking us right now? Do you think that this is going to be the extent of it? Or do you think that this party is just about to get started? Drop your comments below. Let's talk about this. Let's have a real conversation about this. I'm really curious as to what you guys think about this. Subscribe here. Consider subbing on my second channel, my personal channel, and TikTok. I post 4 or 5 times a day on TikTok, short form content. And if you have any questions for me directly, you can drop me a comment on TikTok. Tell me that you came from YouTube in the comment section. Ask me a question. I'll respond back with a video message. And I hope to connect with you guys over there. All right, guys. Until next time. YouTube Success Blueprint. To learn more about growing your YouTube channel and creating passive income as a YouTuber, register for my YouTube Success Blueprint by clicking the link in the description below this video.